Okay, technical difficulties here. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another installment of the Building Depth Topics call this evening. My name is Daniel Mollering, Executive Consultant, and I'm coming to you just outside of Boston, Massachusetts, where the rain is coming down steady right now. Um, Guys, this is an awesome place to be in with LifeVantage right now. And I cannot believe that we're in the final month of 2025. We were on a call with the leaders today, and it dawned on me that we've already had 11 of the 12 months of the year of 2025. How fast that really went by, and how amazing some of the improvements, enhancements, and changes that we've had over the last 11 months, right? Now, going forward in the next 12, 24, 36 months and onwards, is going to be critical for how we, as a leadership group and as a collective unit in the field, work together to continue to move the needle in the right direction. And you can hear the whisperings all over the hallways of network marketing. You see it everywhere online, even with the social influencers. We need to get back to our roots. We need to get back into living rooms. We need to get back kneecap to kneecap, right? So, folks, I can tell you right now, coming from a construction background, and never having experience in this before and getting introduced to this at a very young age, but not having a lot of belief, I had a lot of my concerns um, kind of relieved, I guess you could say, would be the word. Once I realized the system that was in place and the people that were kind of steering that ship and teaching that system. Okay, so now let me just bring you back 16 years ago. I'm looking at this opportunity because I'm in construction. And in 2009, the housing crisis was exactly that, a crisis. So I was looking at other opportunities. LifeVantage kind of found me. And when I looked at it, I was optimistically skeptic, realized I needed to find a way to make money while I slept, but I just didn't see network marketing as being the answer. However, opportunity has a very strange way of revealing itself to you. And what I was told is because we have a highly unique product that is highly consumable with predictable success, we stood in the way of incredible timing, right? We had something that nobody else could copycat, duplicate, all of those things. The stage was set. Then it was, well, how do we turn this into a passive income? Well, the leaders that are part of this leadership group, my enroller, Blue Elam, his enroller, Marcel Niederhauser, kind of broke it down and said, look, there are five simple steps that if you just, are behaviors and principles that if you stay consistent in, we don't know how long it's going to take you, but if you're consistent, we can all but guarantee you that your business will look completely different if you adhere to these principles and behaviors. So, folks, I hope you're prepared for tonight. We're going to hear from some amazing leaders that are going to be talking about these topics that were introduced to me 16 years ago, and we're going to do that deep dive into it. So, if this is your first time being on this call, if you're new to LifeVantage, or if you've been around for a while, or if you're relaunching, or whatever, this is a great way for you to be able to understand the basic skill sets that are required in the principles and behaviors that we use to share this information to get our business off the ground. Then from there, now, if you've been around for a while, maybe this is a call to help you understand how to teach other people how to do these principles and skills and behaviors. Because once you figure out how to do this and you can teach other people how to do these principles, skills, and behaviors, then your business begins to compound. Okay. And we'll show you what that looks like, and it will all make sense by the end of this call. So we're going to get right into it. I'm going to kick off these topics tonight, and I'm honored because I get to share the overview of what the exact system is. And to be honest with you guys, when I found out that we actually had a system, I was so excited because that's how I built my business in construction anyways. It was with a system, it was with a blueprint, right? Like I had to have a checklist. So for me, when I was told, look, if you can adhere to these five things and just focus on the actions of doing these things and not the results of what they garner yet, just focus on that and the results will follow. So here are the five things, okay? So here are the things that you need to master yourself. And once you're able to master these, then you can teach others how to do this and compound your business efforts tenfold, hundredfold, however big you want. Okay, so principle number one, 15 presentations a month or more. Now, you're going to hear about all of these in detail. And you're going to hear about what a presentation is. It quite simply is, it's your story, it's the company story, and how we get paid. We recommend that you do that 15 times a month or more, right? Emphasis on or more. Your business will grow as fast as you want it to. Okay, speed of the leader is the speed of the group in this. Okay, so 15 or more. So basically, what I implore everyone on this call to do is go share that ABC Primetime and watch that ABC Primetime investigative report 15 times a month or more, not by yourself and not with the same person. Okay. Number two, attend trainings and events and treat them as if they are in the utmost of priority. Okay. Now, family first always, like, I get that. There's always going to be things, but this is your PhD, right? If you want to have a PhD in this industry, and transition from amateur to professional, you have got to get the nuts and bolts. And the nuts and bolts is where the trainings are. Like, this is part of that, right? We have quarterly events, we have weekly training calls, we have monthly LifeVantage academies, we have semi-regional or semi-quarterly events in St. George, Utah. The company puts out corporate events as well. We just had one in Dallas, right? So on and on and on. That's built in, right? Treat that as a priority. Number three, stay in control of your business. Now, that can mean many, many things, but really what it breaks down into is treating this like a business and not a hobby. Stay in control of the flow of the information. Don't wait for people to come to you. You have to put one foot in front of the other. You have to get uncomfortable and go do those things and stay in control of your business. And if you haven't ever run a business before, that's why this is such a great program, because you have so many people that are here to help you, that you can leverage, that can support you, that will cheer you on and help hold your hand along the way. Okay, so staying in control of your business can mean a lot of things, but it really does boil down into treating it like a business. Okay, number four, always do what you say you're going to do, even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. It's called integrity. I could go on and on and on, and so could all of the leaders that are on this call, about those moments when they've done something that they didn't really feel like doing, but they did it anyways because it's part of the principles and behaviors. And for whatever reason that was, it either changed their business in a volume sense, or it changed their business in a level of understanding sense, or it changed their business in a leadership sense, right? So it's very, very important to stick it out and see things through to the end, right? Like, you can't you have to stay consistent with it, right? And if you say you're going to do something, you have to show up and do what you said you were going to do, right? Otherwise, nobody's going to follow you, right? Then the last thing is promote, right? Now, you can lack in many, many skills and areas of this industry and business, and that's totally fine. But one area that I would implore that everybody gets very, very good at is the art of promotion. And by nature, we already are, and you're going to hear about that tonight. But think about it. If you've ever experienced anything that you really liked, whether it be a show, a meal, a restaurant, a material possession, and you told somebody else about it, you promoted, right? So get excited about what it is that you have here, because you are able to promote a plethora of things that we have, from health, wellness, finance, community, relationships, mentors, on and on and on. I would be screaming it from the mountaintops, because that promotion piece is social proof, but helps create that infectious energy that draws people in to take a look, and then they self-discover. And that's the beauty of it, guys. All we're here to do is lead people to the information, let other people self-discover, but we do it with intent, and we do it with purpose, and we do it with passion, and we do it with excitement. Okay, so I hope that that's helpful. So that kind of gives you an overview of what this call is about and what the system is. I'm going to pass this over to a dear friend of mine that I've known for quite some time. Her and her husband have become master students and master teachers of the system that we have here. I'm always inspired every time I hear them speak. They're always leveling up their game. And it's inspiring because it keeps you on your toes, right? So with no further ado, I'm going to pass this over to my sister, who I believe is in Florida right now, Miss Sarah Smith.
You got it. Can you tell the palm trees? I gotta, yeah, it's been really good. And I mean, what a powerful business to have to be able to visit family and then travel across the state, where you're visiting family and do some meetings and help your team grow. I love what we do. And if I just love traveling and tying everything into really helping the team grow and it's just yeah, super grateful. So I'm Sarah Smith. I'm coming in from Naples, Florida right now. And my topic tonight is presentation. For those of you that are brand new to the call, welcome. This has been our lifeline. This system that you're learning about, these skill sets that we've developed. My husband and I had never been in network marketing before. This is our only company. This was our first rodeo. And we plugged in just like you're doing here. And like, thank goodness we have Zoom, but it was really for us, we're in the live events where we learned how to give our first presentations, where we watched, and learned from being in the room and hearing that information over and over from our mentors and people that were coming, to our living rooms, to our businesses to help us grow. So number one, presentations live are probably the most effective. And my background being in the massage therapy world, this was put in front of my husband and I 14 years ago by a nurse practitioner who was helping us heal. We had Lyme disease. Chris was out of work. He was bedridden for 3 months. Like life was pretty dark, dim, and we were looking. We were praying. We were hoping, we were wishing for something to get us out of our financial troubles and really out of our health crisis. So, she and why I bring up the nurse practitioner, is because she could have just presented Protandim to us because that's the only product she had. She was a nurse practitioner. We trusted her. She was incredibly intelligent. And she like held off even giving us a bottle of Protandim so that we had a proper presentation. And so the proper presentation turned out to be this gentleman's first presentation. And it was to us, and we saw it. I raised my hand like very high to this whole opportunity because of what we have, right? So the products work. We didn't even have the products in our body, but I saw, wow, if no one knows about this, like I want to be part of that team that brings this to the world. I want to be part of that opportunity. And so you know, the farrier, who was not a nurse practitioner or had nothing really to do in the medical field, shared with us his story, the company's story, and really how you get paid. And so that's the basis for a presentation. And Dan had mentioned you do this 15 times or more a month, and you're going to create momentum in your business. And if you really want to accelerate it, you do 30 presentations a month, you do 60 presentations a month, you clear the decks, you get the eyeballs on it. And we know that compressed action in the form of getting people to see the information from an unattached space, that's the trick. If you're unattached with what that person does with the information, your presentations are really fun because you're really just speaking into the vision that you have for the planet, or you have for your community, or you have for yourself. So the presentations fuel you. If I'm not giving presentations, I do not feel as connected to the business. I'm not as excited. I feel like I'm far from the fire. Like the presentations for me are just, really sharing like, okay, here's the impact. Here was the pain point for us was, when my hands were not on massage clients, the paycheck stopped. And we hit a health crisis and our finances drained. So there are people out there that can relate to that story. So whether your story is, um, if you feel like it's insignificant or you might not have a story, I'm just going to tell you your story is powerful because it's coming from your heart. It's your story, and your story can change. Our story and our why changed over the years, but your story is powerful because people relate to that. So just remember that, like your story, big or small. is how you want to start every presentation. The facts tell, but stories sell. And so when you're presenting, it's the six key components that you want to include in that your story, the company story, and how you get paid. And these six key components, if those boxes are not checked with product, company, timing, system, trends, um, and what am I missing? Compensation, then if you're not, kind of targeting and what I love to do in presentations is simply just really share what's standing out, like what makes us different. And you guys, in every one of those categories, we're different. Publicly traded, first to market, genetic activation, science, patents. We're ahead of a trend. Everybody needs money. There's too much month at the end of the money. The economy is where it is. People are looking, people are praying for what we have. So the presentations are a way that we can connect with people to offer solutions. We're not in the convincing business. This is a business of, we have people have problems out there with their health or problems with their finances. We have a solution. So if we can just come from that angle and build with urgency, the major difference that I'm seeing with when we were on that run, in the very beginning, where like Chris and I were part of that $100 million run, with the company from, yeah, 100 to 200 million, essentially, it was the urgency. Like, you guys, we're still in timing. We've got like timing is on our side. Tell stories, have fun, learn and teach through on the job training. So, so you invite, we present, they decide. And then until that brand new person, you want to get them up and running as quickly as possible with presentations. It's like absolutely critical to have people up and running as quickly as possible and feeling the ownership so that they can share their vision from their heart and their excitement, because that's how we create the ripple. That's how we get this out there to the world. So don't be afraid, because your presentation, if you're giving one, it's perfect. Just do it. It does not have to be perfect. Just share from your heart, and you'll learn along the way. And people like are magnets for your energy and excitement and your passion. And so if that is there behind your words, you will find success right out of the gate with your presenting. So with that, I get to pass it over to my partner in crime, Mr. Chris Smith, who's all the way out in Utah. And I'm just super excited to, he and he is like, I love how he presents. So if you ever get a chance, I mean, it's whiteboard, it's simple, it's like just amazing. And he gets to talk about compensation, which, you guys, it's our number one product. Did you know that? Over to you, Mr. Smith.
Oh, thank you. I love my whiteboard. That's for sure. I learned from some of the best in this industry, starting with Dan Mulring on this call. Blank pieces of paper, napkins, whiteboards. But yeah, I'm out in Liberty, Utah. Chris Smith, my background prior to getting involved in network marketing, which is this company, our first rodeo, was in construction. And prior to that was in the mountain sports industry. So nothing other than maybe doing a little bit of marketing for my own construction company. Like, did I even connect what I would be doing with this company? So I really didn't understand. But ultimately, it was telling stories, as Sarah noted, doing our presentations. And a big piece of that is around compensation, how we get paid. That's how I'm going to break this down tonight. For further breakdown on compensation, you want to be in St. George, Utah for all the live events that we put on. We only have a few minutes to touch on these topics tonight, but I hope you're getting a good taste of what you're going to get of a more in-depth training on each of these things, as Dan broke down, that are in the system. But I'm going to take compensation down to, if you're doing a presentation, how we get paid, just really explaining that. And I'm going to do it really in 3 points, I think, that are effective for a new person to understand and be able to relay to someone. So if you've set up the presentation right and told your story and the company's story, somewhere in there between the company's story, your testimonial, maybe around this, maybe if you're in a living room meeting, some other people's testimonials, start to connect with the realization or someone in that room, because I did eventually, that our products might get reordered. Okay. So the compensation part of network marketing, the notion of it is beautiful, but it really only works if someone's reordering the product. So, for instance, a company selling something like a hard good, an everlasting pen or a steak knife or something like that. Um, the reorder rate's going to be a lot lower, right? So, there might be a lot of work doing that. So you want to kind of plant that seed that the notion of this subscription income and that people are reordering product, they're doing it with this company and it creates a great income there. So that's kind of the first point. We're trying to understand ourselves if we're new and be able to relate to other people. Some kind of analogy to maybe connect to how powerful a piece of subscription income would be. So maybe a story about something everyone can understand, like Netflix or Amazon Prime having a subscription to one of those and taking people back in a theoretical time machine to, hey, what if when these companies were very, very small and there was a lot of growth potential in front of them, someone offered you a small piece of those subscriptions moving forward. And knowing what you know now, anyone would want to sign up for that. So we're trying to just paint that simple picture of that's where this company is going. Again, when the other pieces of the puzzle have been kind of laid into place already in the other parts of the presentation. So that's kind of point number two, is maybe use an analogy to show people the power of the subscription income and what we have our hands on here. And if they ask about that, well, one of our bonuses, you don't even have to remember the name or the percentages. One of our bonuses, it allows people to earn a position in this company where you get shares in all the global revenue, all that product that was in the news report, all of it that's sold all over the planet. We could get a piece of all that is the picture we're trying to paint. Okay. And point number three are understanding all of the bonuses, all the ways we get paid in leveraged income across this company. Is the greater the volume that you grow, no matter what the bonus is, whether it's you moving product through those seller titles or some of the other bonuses that are almost like profit sharing in your own group, a leadership match. The greater the volume you and your team grow, the larger the percentage of income LifeVantage gives you back in all of those bonuses. It's a stair step thing. You don't even have to understand how each of them individually work. I still pull out all the charts to do that. So understanding those three things and being able to relay them, maybe sometimes even only one of them if someone gets all of it and kind of technicolor, but that's our job. Don't be intimidated on talking to people about how we get paid. It's actually really easy. And if they want to dig a little further, then we can open up our website to do that. So with that, I'm going to pass this over to a really great friend of ours and a great friend and great leader in the company. Not only do they show people how to lead and create leaders through this system Dan talked about, actually building depth in leadership, but they create a great culture in this company and this group and make people feel very welcome. So if you've been around Dave and Joanne Madison, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So thank you, Joanne, for all that you do for all of us that come
Awesome.
through Colorado and elsewhere. So over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That was great. I'm going to go with your analogy theme tonight. So my name's Joanne Madison, and I'm coming to you tonight from Vail, Colorado. And my topic that I'm going to speak into tonight is staying in control of your business. You guys, the sooner you take ownership of your business and not just consider this um, your upline's business or your enroller's business or your mentor's business, the better off you're going to be. However, in honoring the commitment that we make to people that come onto our team is that we tell them that we're going to link arms with them. And so to me, part of you staying in control of your business is being true to your word in that and actually guiding and leading the new people coming into your organization. Because just like any of us that start something new, it's kind of scary, right? We don't know what to say. We don't know what to do. We don't know what the steps are. And so when we have new people coming into our organization, we're telling them, yes, get on our team. We always work together. We never leave you alone to do this business. This business is more fun and more effective when we do it together, because for other new people hearing this information and saying, oof, I'd love to do that. I've got some people I know would really resonate with this information, but I'm not sure I could transfer that message, right? We're not expecting new people to transfer that message. We're expecting them to link arms with us and us stay with them all along the journey. And so, as Chris mentioned, that the whole concept of this business is building depth, that I've got a circle of influence, and with my circle of influence, they have a circle of influence, and that ripple effect goes out and out and out and out, just like we throw the rock in the water and we can watch that ripple. And so we stay with those people as they come on board all the way through the ripples evolving in the water. And so in my background, I had a mortgage company. And honestly, one of the most difficult things for me in that industry was because I had to relinquish control. Is I had to rely on underwriters. I had to rely on the inspectors. I had to rely on the appraisers to do their job and do it in a timely manner and do it with excellence. And I used to say, if I could just do the process all the way through, it would be a lot easier. And in this, we do the process all the way through. And that is where the magic comes. And you build that culture, you build that community. Because you guys, if this isn't fun for people, you're going to lose them along the way. So it is up to each and every one of us as the leaders in our organization to create that culture of friendship and actually caring for people inside and outside of LifeVantage. If someone's having a life struggle and they're in your organization, like send them a text, send them a card, send them flowers, let them know you're thinking of them, that we're not linear in how we're caring for people. And that is something very different in many cases than the work environment. So we want to create something where we're staying in control and we're actually leading the pack and leading the environment that we're wanting to grow and infuse throughout our entire organization, but never leave someone on their own. You guys, we are working with people, and our enrollers are Tyler and Marcel. And so if you don't know who they are literally, they've got the largest organization within LifeVantage. And you know what? We still talk to them on a regular basis. They still come and help us. We've got our Building Depth event where Marcel is helping each and every one of us on this call and then some. So plug yourself in and hone in on staying in control of your business. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to my dear friend who's right up the road from us here in Colorado. Bert DeBrois, I don't see you on my front screen here, but I'm assuming you're on the call. So we would have never known Bert except for this opportunity. And so the people that come into your life, like Bert and like Chris said, Chris and Sarah, and I mean, all the leaders and so many of you on this call are such near and dear friends of ours. So it's an amazing thing. But take it away tonight, Bert. Yeah, are you here? Is he on? No?
He's
All
not on, Joanne. Just go to the
Okay.
next
All
person
right.
up.
Well, I'm going to go on over then to Candy, who, you know what? Speaking of community, again, we would not have known Candy except for LifeVantage. And Candy's actually going to be in Colorado this weekend. And so if you know anyone near Colorado Springs or Denver area, we're not too far. We're in Monument, Colorado, is where we live normally. And Candy's actually coming to our house to help share this information and just be a new and fresh voice. And we're turning it into a holiday potluck. And so that's all a part of that creating community. And so I so appreciate Candy's heart and her willingness to come and spend time with us. And I don't know how many of her family are coming, but they're all welcome at our house and we're going to have a great time. So take it away, Candy.
I didn't tell you I was bringing all 10 of them. No,
That's
I'm just
fine.
kidding.
We got lots of bedrooms.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We are so excited about this weekend and just to be in your home and to be able to share the gift of LifeVantage with so many new people. We're really excited. So I'm Candy Kreslak. I am coming to you from Montana, Helena, Montana. I have been a part of LifeVantage for 6 years. My background, I was a registered nurse. I've been a nurse for over 20 years. And when I saw LifeVantage for me, I was so thankful first off that Summer Smolik shared the whole story with me because I was in such a bad place mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. I needed something to change in my life. I was really sick. I was working 80 to 90 hours a week. But because she shared the whole story with me, that's where I caught the vision. You guys, I caught a vision to be able to help more people in a bigger way when I watched that ABC News primetime investigative report. I was like, oh my gosh, if that is real, the world needs to know about it. And for me, though, I didn't think that it was going to help me. So I want you guys to know that's super important because I was suffering from a chronic illness and I didn't say yes to this because of the product. So thank you, Summer, for sharing the whole story. Please share the whole story with people because you don't know what they're praying for. You don't know what they're hoping for, what their dreams are, what their goals are. Most of the time, we have no idea what's going on behind closed doors. And I said yes to this 6 years ago, and it has changed our life. And we have been able to impact hundreds of other people's lives. You guys, this is way bigger than a product or a company. This is way bigger than we are as people. And if we can paint that vision for people on what this can do and how many people we can help along the way. So my topic tonight is promoting. And I love this topic. And I know Dan said this in the very beginning, but this is one of the most important skills to get good at. One of the most important principles in the 5 principles and behaviors that we teach is promoting. You guys, if you get good at promoting, first you got to promote yourself. You got to show up and you got to be excited. You got to show up. Like, would you follow you? Think about that for a minute. The way you show up, if you were the one sitting in a room with you listening to this information, would you say yes and want to follow you? We got to show up for people and promote ourselves, and we can promote the system. You guys, if you get good at promoting this system and promoting this call the first and third Tuesday of the month at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, like if you teach people this system, your business will just start duplicating, right? You want to have people down in depth, 50 levels down below you, teaching the exact same system because systems don't fail, people fail systems, right? So promoting is so important, you guys, attending the events. And I think it was Dan that said this too. It was events are the PhD. Like that's how, for me, when I went to nursing school, I went to nursing school to learn how to be a nurse, right? But I had to pay for that education. I had to pay for the education to become a nurse. But I didn't learn anything there. I didn't learn anything until I went to work as a nurse. You guys, not that I mean, I'm not saying you're not going to learn anything by going to the events because that's where you learn everything, but you have to go do the behaviors. You learn what you need to do. It's the action that creates the belief, that creates the confidence, that creates the momentum. It's the action of learning how to do the principles and behaviors. but promoting everything along the way. You guys, if you do a presentation, I'm telling you, when you get done with that presentation, you should be promoting the next event at the end of that presentation. You should be promoting the next call. The presentations I did today, I promoted them to get on the call tonight at 8 o'clock, because that's the next follow-up for them. You want to show this information when you're sharing this information, you want to try to get this information in front of them at least 4 to 6 times in 24 to 48 hour period, because you want to get them, it's that sense of urgency. When they're excited, that's when you want to get them going. So do that quickly and promote like crazy, you guys, because the system, I'm telling you, when you learn the art of promotion, your business will start duplicating and everything will start happening when you're getting your teams to events and you're getting them to Zoom calls and you're plugging them into the system and you're introducing them to all of these other executive leaders and all of you who are on the call. You're promoting the community. You guys, so many people just want to be a part of something. So promotion is huge. I get the honor tonight of introducing Mr. Mark Harris. He is an incredible executive leader that I have looked up to since day one when I first met him going to a building depth. So I'm gonna give it over to you, Mark.
Thank you so much, Candy. Good stuff. And I'm going to segue right off of your stuff. And every leader on this call has been phenomenal tonight. We could have ended the call right after Dan, I think. That was such good stuff. But it is so I'll share a little bit of my story, but I do want to segue off of what Candy just shared. Krista and I served as international foreign missionaries overseas for, well, that's redundant, isn't it? For years and years and years. We loved our work called to the nations. And we never thought we were coming back to the States. And that ended in 2006 when the housing market collapsed. We were support based. And so I got a gig working at Home Depot as a kitchen designer. I had a freelance graphic design business as well. And we weren't making it. I was working 2 jobs. And my mother-in-law was the trusted friend that was the messenger that shared this opportunity with us. And when we first saw it, I saw the product. I saw the science. Sounded too good to be true. Sounded like snake oil. But within a very short period of time, I had a profound physiological and mental breakthrough. But more than that, I was astounded that somebody of my mother-in-law's credibility and caliber would consider network marketing, because we had been pitched all kind of things under the sun, and we liked those products. But man, not a business that I ever wanted to do until my eyes were opened to this profession. And we started, like Chris and Sarah, this was our first ever rodeo, and we had no idea what we were doing. And we just started, we were coachable. We started doing these building depth principles and behaviors. Fortunately, like Dave and Joe and so many of these others, Marcel and Tyler are our upline. And so we didn't know what we were doing. We just did what they told us to do, which were 15 presentations a month or more. And we've done significantly more during seasons. $10 events, do what you say you're going to do, stay in control of your business, and learn this art of promotion. And then there are things that you do as part of the system that you invite and you share the presentation. And then you follow up and resolve concerns and overcome objections. And you help people make a decision. You do that over and over and over again to help people navigate this opportunity. If they're open, helping them resolve those concerns and answer their questions. And so tonight, I want to share a little bit about the benefit of that belief that Candy just talked about that's acquired at events. That belief is not just for you. That belief is that's your fuel. That's your leadership fuel to become successful with overcoming the fears of your prospects and the fears of the people following you in your team. And this is what I know, having done this for 15 years now, that sense of passion and belief, your why, that deeply rooted sense of, I know I was called to do this. I know I'm transforming not just the lives of myself and my family, but hundreds and maybe thousands of people's lives. And to view that as a calling for us, we see it as a God-given calling, as a mandate. And so that is a deep, deep why that will trump anybody with an argument every single time, because we have 15 years of experience in watching that happen. So I want to share just a couple things. Our time is short tonight. You might remember there have been some really great presentations at our building depth events on this topic in the past. We won't have 40 minutes to go through this, although we could. There's a couple things I want to share with you. One is a novice a first timer in network marketing will hear an objection or a concern as a protest, as a pushing back. And I want to encourage you, especially if you're brand new, to not have that perspective. People are scared. And so they're really, you'll find there aren't that many objections that you're going to hear. One is time. The other significant one is money. And you can just rest easy with the conviction that what you're offering people, if you're talking about this opportunity, is a way to give them both of those things, time and money, and because of our products, their health. But significantly, the objection of I don't have the time and I don't have the money are really easy to overcome if you can show them what we're offering. And the way you can do that as a brand new person is put them on the phone with somebody who has reached that level of success and reached escape velocity and established a deeper level of freedom in their lives, greater time freedom, greater financial freedom. Then there's other objections you're going to hear. I'm not a salesman, right? Well, that's this system. You're watching us not be salespeople. You're watching us give information in a super low threshold way. That's not pressure. It's not hype. It's just giving people information to have success based on the experience that we've had as well. So you're gonna find very few objections. That's one category, resolving concerns. And the more patient and passionate you are with helping people come to a decision that's going to benefit them and their families, the more success you're going to have on the prospecting side. The other side of overcoming objections is inevitably life is going to life on you. There are going to be storms. No matter how deep your why is, no matter how passionate you are, no matter how great the compensation plan or how many people you find, there are going to be things that you will find in your leadership that you have to either overcome, either personally or in your team. I will tell you that your ability to manage those obstacles, that is the reason why LifeVantage sends you a check every month. And the greater capacity you have to overcome those objections personally, in your environment, in your community, and in your team is directly correlated to your ability to overcome those things and your paycheck, right? So what's what they pay us for. In fact, network marketing would not exist were there not objections, right? So be grateful. Be grateful that these products aren't still sitting on retail shelves without objections because there were objections, because there was friction. We make 9 levels of royalty income and about 17 different ways we get paid as well. Man, that 5 minutes went so fast. I want to read a poem to you. Perhaps you've heard it. Jim Rohn famously used to quote this poem. It's a great little bit by a lady named Ella Wheeler Wilcox. It's called "'Tis the Set of the Sail." And I'll close with this before I pass it on. "'Tis the set of the sail, but to every mind there openeth a way and a way and a way. A high soul climbs the highway, and the low soul gropes the low. And in between, on the misty flats, the rest drift to and fro. But to every man there openeth a highway and a low, and every mind decideth the way his soul shall go. One ship sails east, and another west, by the self same winds that blow. 'Tis the set of the sails, and not the gales, that tells the way we go." It's a tongue twister, sorry. "Like the winds of the sea and the waves of time, as we journey along through life, 'tis the set of the soul that determines the goal, and not the calm or the strife." Great poem. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to my buddy, my mentor, my friend, and one of the great leaders in this little tribe of Building Depth and in LifeVantage. There from the very beginning, the beauty and the brain does not belong to this half of the dynamic duo, but Dave Madison is one of the most highly esteemed executive consultants in LifeVantage and my friend in Colorado.
Dude, I tell you, I skipped more English classes. I had to go to special reading. I got dyslexia before they even knew it existed. And to follow a guy that wraps it up with a poem, I'm out of touch.
I just barely made it through that, bro. Come on.
I tell you, if they were teaching me Jim Rome stuff back in English, every one of these leaders would have been absolute stud presidentials without any question. They were teaching me Shakespeare, and that guy he was a loser. I mean, I had to learn how to read by reading Sports Illustrated. I can't relate even with a poem. But thank you for bringing it up, because Jim Rome is the guy of all guys in our industry, transcended generations of these principles that everyone is learning tonight. So, Mark, we should end it now, not before you spoke, because that was profound. And I hope you guys realize if you ever have to go back to something of the past to understand the psychology of humans and understand the steps to success for individuals, his name is Jim Rome. Thank you, Mark, very much for bringing that to a head. I'm gonna talk a little bit about myself. No, I'm not gonna talk about myself. I'm gonna talk about the invite. The invite is one of those ingredients. Like you can make all sorts of stuff in the kitchen and call yourself a baker, but if you're gonna lose one of the actual, if you leave out the flour, we're not even close to a cake, right? So the magnitude of what I am talking about right now is your cut and cut bait. Because if you're not in the mode of helping others first and foremost over yourself, you're going to have to learn to overcome that. And the only ingredient that creates any success in this industry is mastering the invite. And when you can figure out that the invite is not a repetitive motion in the same sentence that you've done 8,000 times, you will create success. Because when the cop pulled me over a couple of weeks ago, my invite to him by the end of he didn't give me a ticket, and I wasn't speeding. I was bobbing and weaving because I was on a building depth call, and I was late at night, and everything was fine, but he just, watched me for 15 miles. The conversation I had with him was perfectly fine and very admirable, and he was a wonderful person. And he had a lot to talk, a lot of questions to ask, like, where am I going? Why are you going this late? What are you going to do when you get there? And all this kind of stuff. And that invite was completely different than the invite I had with the person at a meet that I was at. That was a meet and greet. And it was a place where we were actually looking to connect with people. It was part of that. That was the part of the reason for being there. So anytime that you're talking about your passion line, think about this. Your passion, whatever it is, you could be a skydiver. I'm a skier, right? Candy's a nurse. She's forgotten more about medicine stuff than I'll ever know. We all have our passion line. And when we have that understanding, that's because wisdom and knowledge came into the force to give us confidence. And that confidence is what brings our passion, because we can stand behind it. And then you drop that barrier of insecurity, that insecurity of I'm not sure what people are going to think about me crap. And once you have gone past that point, your invites are different all the way through every circumstance of life. Every conversation is different. There's half the time we don't even sing happy birthday to people the same way, twice. Why do you think you have to pattern it? So as one of the greats always said, the best invite you can make is the one that you make. It does not matter the specifics. If you're not pouring into that person with his need line, something that he is needing to prosper in, you're going to miss the boat. The invite's going to fall dead flat. Some people can read into you and some people can't. But until they know that you care more about them than yourself, they're not going to listen. So your invite has to be first and foremost attractive, where you're attracting them into the equation. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to a girlfriend. And yes, by the way, we're Dave and Joanne Madison, and she's the smart one and the beauty one, and I just follow along. I'm the engineer, and that's why I'm putting together cabinets, up here in the mountains, and she's cleaning glass. So with that, I want to pass this over to a girlfriend that I tell you is going to talk about doing what you say you're going to do. And this little gal, she has probably forgotten more sayings, Mark, about Jim Rome than you and I will ever know. Okay? Because this girl was not only a professional in LifeVantage and one of the superiors in our crew, but more than anything, she has been the one that has been the instrument of creating influence in all sorts of people's lives, in all sorts of business practicum, in all sorts of network influence. So this lady like I say, has probably forgotten more than most of us. So over to you, Cynthia. I know you're absolutely without any question one of those that will always do what you say to do, because half the time you're in Florida, half the time you're in New Hampshire, half the time you're in Philly, half the time you're in New York. I'm just waiting for you to come to Colorado. It's more fun out here. Over to you, Sarah.
Absolutely. Dave, thank you. You got me grinning ear to ear, so my smile's hurting me. An honor to follow you, Dave. And Joe, you've been an inspiration to me. Hi, everyone. I am broadcasting currently from outside Philadelphia, which has been my base for about the last 3.5 years. I started LifeVantage 7 years and just a few months ago. At that time, living in Manhattan. And when Manhattan heard about LifeVantage for me, LifeVantage was already, I don't know, 8 years or 9 years, and nobody was doing it in Manhattan. And I just realized, because I knew how to talk to those people. They're a little bit, too cool for school. They got maybe a little chip on their shoulder. And I just made this sound like I was talking about Apple or the launch of, Uber or the launch of Federal Express, which is a category creator. Like, this is the best network marketing project for Manhattan people, or people who are highly professional, high achievers, because I made this sound professional. And that's what Sarah Smith did for me. She said, hey, I know you're super busy. I'm working on something very bold and pioneering. I feel like it's something you could wrap your head around, because it's so out of the box, and having your insight on it would really mean a lot to me. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you. I felt appreciated by her invitation. I didn't feel stressed or targeted. I felt honored. And that's my favorite way to invite people to look at this, is I want them to feel honored. So I make sure I acknowledge and celebrate them in my invitation. So that's a hint. Only put people on your list that you want to celebrate and honor. That makes it easy. So where was I? I was running 3 companies, working crazy 75 to 80 hours a week, living on and off subways, and I had no leverage. All my money went to zero on January 1st, and I had to do it all over again. I only got paid when I was in front of a client. And it was burning me out. Even though I was loving it, I knew, how long am I going to do this? I'm actually a slave to the businesses I've built. So I was looking for leveraged income. I just didn't think it was network marketing. So yes, be patient with people. Sarah allowed me to think it wasn't for me many times, but I was inspired for her. Let your friends be inspired for you. That's where I started. I was inspired for Sarah. So I was inspired, and then I started introducing people. So it's really just letting people go through their process. So my topic is actually really profound. It's always do what you say you're going to do. And I'm going to use an analogy. If you think about anyone you know who runs, or maybe decided to run their first marathon or their first 10K, or decided to train for a tournament. I was a swimmer. I was a very high level competitor, swam internationally, and I swam 12 workouts a week. Of my 13 years as a swimmer, I was in the pool year round, 12 workouts a week for 10 of those years. College was like a cakewalk. We only worked out like 10 times a week instead of 12. And what is really interesting, if you know anyone that did something like became a black belt, or even went for the black belt, maybe never even got the black belt, but they went for it. They went for a thing. If you ask them, and I'm not a runner, but I have friends who are runners. They run at like 5 a.m, 6 a.m. If they live in the Northeast where I live, they do it even if it's raining or snowing. And you know what they all tell me when their alarm goes off at 4:30? They do not want to get out of bed. In other words, the amygdala, the monkey brain, all those different nicknames for it, always says, oh, not this morning. It's too cold. Gosh, it's so cozy. But then there's this other part, and it's the part of their commitment. And that's in the realm of always doing what we say we're going to do, is honoring our commitment as more powerful than what this, also known as the amygdala. It's the part of us that's actually known as the voice of negation. It's the voice that wants me to stay small and in my comfort zone, not the part, it's against the part of us that stretches to see what we're made of. And if you talk to any peak performer, What's profound is they're willing to honor their word or what they said they do over what they feel like doing. And let me tell you something, anytime you're going to stretch for something, whether it's, oh, I made 6 figures a year, but I didn't do it part-time. I was working 80 hours a week to make 6 figures a year, and it wasn't renewable. So if I say I only have 8 hours a week, and I want to replace my 6-figure income working on a fraction of the time, and I want it to come in renewably for 30 years after I've stopped working. I mean, that's like an Olympian level desire compared to the way I was earning money. And I'm going to what? Honor my feelings? It's not going to happen. Honor our word. I'm looking at my notes here. Always do what you say you're going to do. And you know what? I was an athlete and I had to have a team holding me accountable. So I'll just give you the last trick. When I launched this business, I had so much going on. You could say I had so much on my plate. But what was on my plate was not going to make me free. So I had to find a way to add something to my plate. But I'm smart enough to know that the way my life was organized is that life calls for us to continue doing what we've already been doing. That's just the deal. Life called for me to keep doing that. So when I said yes to Sarah and said, I'm going to do this, and I want to be a presidential, and I want to create 20 women presidentials, I knew that if I didn't talk to her every day, my life would kind of suck me in and I would just go do my life again. So I was willing to think of it like an athlete. I was like, I need my little workouts. I need my little workout buddy. I need my little check-in calls. I said, Sarah, if we even just talk 10 minutes a day so I could declare my game for the day. I'm going to call these 10 people. Doesn't mean I always was able to. I said, I'm going to do something bold. I'm going to make a bold declaration. I'm going to call these 10. I text her the 10 names so I'd even remember what I was supposed to do. So the power of this business is give your word to stuff and then go for it with the thing and then forgive yourself if you don't. Give your word. Create a game. Every 90 days, create a game. Give your word is the thing that calls us forth. It's the thing that got those runners out of bed when they did not want to get out of bed. So greatness comes to us when we live into our word and not into what we feel like doing. So that is my little spin on always do what you say you're going to do. And I'm going to turn it over to Daniel Mollering. Come on back.
Thank you so much, Cynthia. What an incredible call. I hope you guys were taking notes. Every time I hear these speakers speak, and I've heard them speak a lot, it's never the same. It's always an improvement. And it's a reminder to me that we're on the right track. You're in the right place at the right time with the right people, folks. The information that was given to you tonight, people would pay tens of thousands of dollars at weekend seminars and walk over hot coals for theory. You heard from people that gave experiences and examples of real life situations that they walked here for free 99. Folks, like we do this because it is important to us that we know that we have a vehicle that offers global solutions to global concerns, but it means nothing if we don't arm and equip ourselves as well as every other leader that we can find out there that wants what we have with every tool possible to be able to do that. Now, if you can dissect and go back to your notes and take out the parts that you feel will help move the needle in your business this week and apply them this week. Become masterful at that skill, then teach another person how to do that. I'm telling you, this is a wash, rinse, repeat business. You do that over and over and over again, it will have a compound effect. Your business will grow. Now think about this. Let's just say, for example, that everyone on this call heard everything that was said by all of these speakers loud and clear. I get the principles and behaviors. I'm committed. I'm going to do the 5 things, right? So what's the first one that we talked about? 15 presentations a month or more. Let's go out and say that you, through that process of doing your 15 or more, Eventually identify 10 other consultants that want to do what you're doing, and you're plugging them into this call and you're plugging them into this platform, and they're doing their 15 presentations a month or more. Now you have 10 people doing 15 presentations a month or more, right? Plus you're doing your 15. So at minimum, how many presentations are now going on in your business a month? You and your 15 plus the 10 that you found that are doing their 15 each. 165 presentations that are going on through compounding what you have learned and applied on this call tonight. So folks, I hope that this was valuable to you. I hope that you tell your friends, like make sure that you're on these calls, guys. The first and third Tuesdays of the month are critical. These are trainings that are available to literally everyone out there. So get the word out. This is the crux of what network marketing was yesterday, is today, and always will be a relationship business. And that kneecap to kneecap, je ne sais quoi, is back and in full effect. And these principles of behaviors are what's going to be there to help carry us all through together. And I, for one, am very, very excited and look forward to the day that we as leaders can turn around and look back from an audience and learn from all of you as you progress to move the needle in this company. So thank you so much for all that you guys do, for taking the time out to invest in yourself and in your business tonight. And thank you to all of the leaders that took time out of your businesses and time away from your families to pour into us all tonight. And a special thanks to the East Coasters. I know how it rolls. You know, you guys are wicked awesome, and I appreciate that about each and every one of you. But I hope you guys have a wonderful week. We get the full month of December. Let's close this month. Let's close this year. Let's just really finish strong and ramp into 2026. Do not wait until January 1 to start your New Year's resolutions, right? Just start now. Okay. Let's get it going. Let's keep that thing going. I love you all. Have a wonderful week. Appreciate you guys.
Blessings, guys.